How to determine the most profitable direction as a service-based business owner, agency, coach, or and basically an online coach, right? So rule number one is first and foremost, we never ever ever want to trust our gut feeling. This is a big problem because your gut is not necessarily what is right for the market or what is right for a say a business idea that you have in particular, right? So that is what our gut does because our gut, there's a lot of emotion involved when we make decisions like that. And this is a point that I'm going to make right now. But we always want to first do the numbers. We want to first do the work within the market or within the segment of the market that you're in, right? So always do the math first, as I said here. Always do the math first to find the most profitable direction in a particular market, right? Your gut feeling is usually wrong, and you want to regulate yourself with data and numbers. Now, for example, that I have here is like high performance positions. Like if you look at high performance traders or basically professional traders, they're in a high performance field, or you look at basically sales teams, right, that produce $1 million monthly, right? They are in high performance environments and they all regulate themselves with data because at the end of the day, it's not really about so much about understanding, you lost a sale and now you, like, for an example, go and sit in the corner and sulk. It's about understanding why the diagnosis on the sales call, it's about understanding that and formulating what you can change within your wording or within your delivery, right? So that's basically it. And how do we find the most profitable direction? We look at the cash flow against time. And you want to be in the direction where the cash flow is basically the greatest, right? Now, like I'm gonna say this is like the third time I'm recording this video because I want it to be crystal like clear. The first time the sound didn't record. The second time it's basically just it wasn't as good as I wanted it. So I'm hitting this the third time. So and this is like one of the best videos I've ever done value wise. Like I know people that charge a lot of money for content like this. So I couldn't really find any frameworks out here that, that were really useful, right? So we basically went out and we made one. So we put together a model called profit velocity. It's kind of like a back of envelope thing, right? So what we do is we primarily looking at the LTV, the lifetime value velocity of the customer. So what this measures is the rate at which the cash flow hits the bank, right? So once you start a business, you want to be very, very aware about this number because you don't have infinite amounts of money in the bank, right? So what we're going to look at now is we're going to look at the product and then we're going to look at the attribute. So first, with the product, we have the P. So P here is price of the thing that you are selling. So this might be a service or a product. We're gonna now figure out, are you selling like high ticket? Are you selling low ticket? What is it that what is the service? What is the product? So you need to understand the ticket price, as I've just said there, and the time to collect on the sale, on the contract, right? So, you do a deal, you do business with someone, and then what is that extensive period on when the cash hits your bank? So this can be like 1 day, or this can be 3 months, or yearly, like 365 days, dependable on the contract length. Now, C here basically is the cost to fulfill, basically the cost to deliver on the service, also known as the COGS, right? So it can be expressed as a percentage of the price based, so basically if you want, right? So, or it can be one minus the gross margin. So in SaaS related service, it's basically around 5 to 10%. And in service based businesses, we could look at anything around 20%, as I put that here. So we need to understand, right? Basically, first, what we need to understand is the time it takes to market, meaning the cost and the time to generate a lead. So in business in general, there are two variables to account for, right? First, we are going to solve for the product, and then we are going to solve for its attribution. So we need to look at the two basically. So first, the attribution, um, basically then the time it takes to market, and then second, the time it takes to generate a sale with the amount of specific marketing dollar, right? So now that can be paid ads, content creation, outbound, any sort of an outbound process. And because basically we need to be able to generate leads. So now if we look at the attribution, lead gen falls under here, right? So now if we look at the T, we have the time distance between the impression and the lead event in dollar amount, right? So the dollar amount needed to turn the eyeballs into a lead, channel specific, right? Now this can be less than 7 days or less than $200, right? Dependable on the specific example. So now we're gonna look at the sales. Now, what is the sales cycle like? All right, what is the commission? Is there any commission involved? Or is it something easy, for an example, like you are selling you're selling a piece of, like a slice of chocolate cake over the counter at a coffee shop, right? We need to be aware of that. So then we're going to look at the time distance between the lead event and the close event within the dollar amount required to turn a lead into an account. So T here is under basically understanding whether it's, if it's under 10K. And then what we're going to look at is also the day that's involved here, the days that are involved. And then we're going to obviously, here's the ticket price. So, and then obviously here the 30 days, and then over the 50K here depends on the price, right? So not every offer is the same, nor is the distribution channel like the same, right? So some things are easier to sell than others. Some things are more profitable than others. And then we have some things you can get better access to market because of the platform, right? So now the T here is basically the time distance between the close event and the full, and basically on the fully collected event. So the money collected on the account, right? This can be 1 day versus the 365, basically 1 or 365, dependable. Could be less, or it could be in between 3 months. So we need to understand the realization rate on the product or the service you are selling. So if you are selling a 500K ticket or a product, basically you will, like, if you never realize like that cash, you're basically going to run out of cash. Like your burn rate and the stuff, like you never realize the cash, so it means like you're gonna run out of cash, right? So the time between the close of the deal and the cash coming into the bank is significant. So how do we model this thing? First, we need a money, basically a time metric, right? So how much cash is coming into your bank account per month or day, and this could even be hourly. Now, this is obviously when you are absolutely killing it, right? So in the numerator, we need money, right? A money. So in the denominator, we need time. So how do we model this thing? Basically the method, right? The first thing is that we're going to do is we're going to take the price, then we're going to subtract the cost to fulfill, basically the cost to market and the cost to sell. Then if we look at the whole profit price, right? The COGS is basically within regards to the gross margin, right? And then after the acquisition, you have to subtract the marketing cost and the sales cost, and then we look at the denominator, which is the time, right? So we need to account for the time it takes to market, which is the time distance between the impression and the lead event. So in other words, how much time does it take to generate a cold lead, right? When someone, like, for an example, raises their hand and says they're interested, or basically they signal interest, how long does that initial cycle take? So how much time does it take to close a lead from initial interest event? And here's a graphic example below. So obviously you can see it. The first one here, we have the cold prospect. Now then we have the time in between cold prospect to lead, and from lead to sales event, and then from sales event to the fully closed event, right? So the time it takes to sell is the sales cycle length, and then we have lead to customer, obviously, right? So how long does it take to close a customer into a fully collected amount, right? Into your bank. So why is this so powerful? If you can determine the most profitable direction, basically simply by just plugging this in and running the math a few times, right? Now, as I've typed here, we're gonna go straight to the example. So, and as stated, this is a theoretical example, right? So the first one here we have is the ticket price is at 50K. Now, this is obviously something like someone selling a mastermind or something really, really valuable, where obviously you will pay to I don't know, be amongst the people, or just be in that entrepreneur group vibe type of thing, mastermind type of situation, right? So ticket here basically, as I've said, is 50K. So now what we're going to look at here is the cost to fulfill. So here, ticket price 50K. Then we're going to look at the cost to fulfill here, where we got 15% there, plus the marketing spend, right? Now, and this is, we got it around, eyeballed around 2.2, basically 20%, right? And then times that 50 for the ticket price, obviously. And then what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the cost to sell, right? Now, cost to sell here, we got 10% here, 0.1. And then we're going to obviously times that with the ticket price, right? And then we're going to divide that by by the 7 days to generate a lead, plus the sales cycle length of 14 days, plus the 50K contract collected over the 90 days. And obviously this is this part here that we got running here. Now, we've basically already done the numbers for you guys, so you can just basically check up on me. Made a mistake or something, just leave a comment in the comment section below. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously if you fill in here, like I said, you can simply just run through the numbers and fill them in here, play with them a little bit, and then obviously you get 7.4K a month on this theoretical example, right? Now we're going to look at example B, but for example B, we are going to have similar economics, but we're going to have a 10K price point on a ticket, right? Something high ticket still, but something around 10K. So now we have the cost to fulfill, which is 15% still. And then basically the way that you calculate this is you add up all of the money needed to fulfill on the thing, right? And then you compare it to the cost of the thing. So basically, 2 days to generate a lead, because we are using paid advertising within this example as well, right? So then we're going to account for the sales cycle length, which is 14 days, right? Now, obviously, that's where we are at right here. And those obviously are the numbers that we filled in, obviously, within the calculation here, right? And then if you run the numbers, you will see that it adds up to $433 a month, right? Now, which one do you think is better? Like you can answer that question, right? So the thing is you should do is you should look at the 7.4K here, right? And then obviously you're just going to divide it with the 433 here, and then you'll see that it is 17 times better, 17x, so 17 times better than, so option number 1 is 17 times better than option number 2, right? So this basically I put here, I find this fun because you can play with the variables and see where the whole thing breaks, right? So what we need to do is we need to fix the direction before you think about scaling up. Now this is absolutely the biggest thing. This whole video, you're going to have to go through this video more than once, because why? It's going to take you a few iterations. It's going to take you a few times of you going through this whole thing and getting it mapped around your head, doing the math, and then obviously coming back to this point is fix the direction before you think about scaling up. This is the biggest thing when it comes to obviously scaling any type of business, right? The direction needs to be sharp. Um, so what does self-built systems do? Where do we come into play with this whole thing? So we basically, help people out of delusional land, and we help structure actionables that needed to be taken, like in order for you to scale past a bottleneck, or it might be a current metric that you're not aware of, or you might have tried advertisement, or you've got burned with a certain thing. There are there are many different ways and directions we can look at a specific situation, but we basically help you build growth machines that run automatically, right? So you can pilot it, and basically the founder, you can pilot it, and in order to do this, we need to look at multiple things, right? Now, the first thing, for an example, could be pricing, right? Or it could be updating like the expectations with regards to the acquisition channel. So most people think that they can acquire a customer for like $20, yet they fail to account for the metrics within the business. Now, I know that's a mouthful. And like I said, you're gonna have to go through this video more than once, at least 3 times, take notes, go over it, take it, implement it, because that's why I make these videos. And also a last thing, if you did like this video, just leave a comment in the comment section down below, like the video, let me know. I would like some feedback. And then, if you need some help with any of this, right, you can simply just go ahead and you can, this link will be down below. And you can simply, just book a call, and we can see if we can help you in your given situation. Guys, that will be it for this video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.